Welcome to the Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with your host, Charlie Butler. This is where you'll learn to sell your home quickly and for more money. And now, the host of the Real Estate Show, the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show, and I'm here as I am every Sunday with my lovely co-host, Evie Barr.
Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
Good morning, Evie. How's it going with you?
It's great. It's Sunday. Going to be a relaxing day. Watch a little NASCAR and just relax. What about you?
It's been great. I mean, business has been incredibly good, and I know we've talked about this off the air, but it's probably the best, honestly, for those that don't know, it's probably the best that real estate has been since 2005, 2006. You know, and that's both on if you're thinking of selling your house, if you're thinking of if you're thinking of buying a house, either way there. It's a great time. And part of what people always say, well, what made 2004, 2005, 2006 so great? I get asked that question all the time.
Uh-huh.
And the lenders were what made that different, because there were so many products. Now, for those that lived through that time period, all those products haven't come back. Don't get me wrong.
No, they have not.
And I don't think there's any time soon that they're going to until everybody dies from that period. Okay?
Yes.
But there are, Evie, a lot of good products that are back again that have been gone that were gone a few years. There's somebody that may have tried to get a mortgage in 2011 or 2012 when we were still feeling the pain. There's some other products out there now since then, aren't there?
Definitely. The government programs are still going strong, which government programs would be like the VA loan, the USDA loan, and the FHA loan. Waterstone has a program that allows for credit scores down to 600. A lot of times there's a cutoff of you must have a credit score of 640 or higher, but Waterstone will actually go down to 600. And then certain special circumstances, we even have programs that go for lower credit scores than that. The underwriters really want to make sure that the buyer is financially stable, which is what they should have been doing in 2004 to 2006, whenever financing was kind of going crazy. But there are good programs. We just have to get documentation to cover all of our bases.
Yeah, and it's on the residential side. There are some, as Evie has said, and there are some very good programs. As she was talking about the government programs, some of those programs, you don't even have to have any money down.
Correct. That would be the USDA program. Waterstone Mortgage also offers what's called a Wealth Builder program. It's no money down. It requires a credit score of 680 or higher. Why it's called a Wealth Builder is because we amortize it over a 20-year term. So you're going to pay down that principal a whole lot faster than what you would if it was set up on a 30-year term.
And also, there are products out there with different for investors now. On the single family investor, and also for the people that are buying larger complexes. I know Evie's regional boss, Derek Danks. We work on some stuff on some apartment complexes. So call us or Evie. You can call us at 812-449-0050. or 812-499-7758, and we will, we can talk more about those products. And Evie, how can they get a hold of you?
They can call me at 812-463-3199 or email me at ebar@waterstonemortgage.com.
And Evie and I are always talking about real estate, and we're going. That's why we're here for. That's why it's called the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show. But and Kenny Miller is going to be joining us here in a little while from Elite Environmental. But I called Evie last night to ask her something, and maybe a couple nights ago, I guess it was. And you were donating your time at one of the local charities. Now, I just wanted I just wanted to see if you wanted to say something about them because you told me some stuff off the air. It sounds like it's a good cause.
Yes. At Nativity Church, every Wednesday night from, I believe it's 5:30 to 7:15, there is a food pantry for lower income families. We really do serve a lot of families there, and you get a nice box with a variety of food, whether it be eggs, bread, cereal, canned vegetables. They also usually do have fresh produce out as well, which we just ask that people take what they will use. But in order to sign up for it, you need to have your driver's license and a social security card. And then if you have children in your household or a spouse and you want to be able to provide for a family of 4, get the food for a family of 4 or more, then you would need to have their individual social security cards as well. They do not have to be present with you, but we go ahead and we put them in our system. And a person that's in our system is allowed to come once every 30 days. And,
it sounds like a great program. And, so do you get the food? Do like individuals donate it or the stores or manufacturers donating it or
different places? I think it's Pepperidge Farm that usually has the seasonal cookies. Mm-hmm. They constantly donate the cookies that are out of season. I know that sometimes Walmart might consider a box damaged when really there's nothing wrong with the contents inside of there. So maybe they'll get that food. I know Sylvia Dieters, who is our fearless leader at the food pantry, she goes to the food bank and gets stuff as well. So there's multiple places that the food comes from.
So if you want to, if someone wants to donate, Evie, or if they want to help, how
we
can they help?
They can reach out to me and I'll just get them in touch with the right person. So they can give me a call at 812-463-3199 and we'll get them in touch with the right people to donate. And if they would like to donate their time as well, we're also always looking for volunteers to help out.
And along the same, just a couple of community notes here, as Evie just brought one up. I was talking with Christy Kirsch the other day, who's with Solid Gold Realty.
Yes.
And Christy is also plays French horn in the Evansville Symphonic.
Okay.
Who has lost a lot of their grant money over the last few years. Mm-hmm. And but Christy said they've announced, or they're getting ready to announce they are going to have a full season this year.
Wow.
So they'll have 4 concerts in June, which they do one each Sunday. They're all professional musicians, fabulous musicians, and they'll be at the Central High School Auditorium.
Okay, that was going to be my next question.
And the best part of it is it's free.
Yes.
So Evansville Symphonic in June at the Central High School Auditorium. But jumping back to what you were talking about, there's so many good causes out there. So there are just so many people out there doing good things and helping. And we hear about all the negative stuff on the news, and that's a shame because I as you were telling me that I several different organizations I know about here locally that really help people ran through my mind, and it's a shame they don't get more publicity.
Yes. It really is. And quick thought going back to the food bank at Nativity Church. I believe it's on Wednesdays during the day. I'm not sure of the time frames, but they also do have a clothing bank for people as well.
That's good to know.
During the day. So, but yeah, there's, we all should be so thankful for all the blessings we have in our life and, have an attitude of gratitude and give back, to those who are less fortunate and just help where we can.
And the other question I wanted to ask, I saw Leslie Morgan earlier with her new look with that blonde.
Yes.
So
I'm not going blonde.
Have you thought about doing the Leslie Morgan
Actually,
thing? Okay.
The funny thing is whenever I saw Leslie's pictures, I thought, man, I wonder if I could go blonde, but I've never done that. So I don't know if I'd want to. So
okay, I was just curious because we were talking about how good Leslie looked. The blonde. I thought you might, you might think blondes have more fun. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I have a whole lot of fun myself. So in my family, my sister was always the blonde, and I was always the brunette, auburn, whatever. So I think I'll stick with it.
You're not going to elaborate.
Are you going to change your hair color then?
No,
are you going to go dark?
I'm going to grow my hair back.
Okay.
That on top that's gone.
Yeah.
I've had that look for a few years now. I'm thinking about growing it back now. So
if the top's gone, but you let it grow out in the back, I mean, you could do the skullet thing where it's business in the front and party in the back.
Yeah. And I'll get me a mullet and all kinds. I'll just
it might be a skullet for you if it's missing on top. They call it a skullet.
And my wife does not. My hair gets long. She just she doesn't like it. So it's just
Well, like I said before, you have a great haircut going on today. So
and this came from Michaela McSpirin at Sports Clips. So the new Sports Clips on Green River Road, which was really neat. And go see Michaela at Sports Clips.
Is that by the new Schnucks?
No, that is right in front. That's in front of the mall.
Okay.
Where Integra used to be there, in that little. There's Lix's there, I believe, and isn't it Lix right there?
It's Starbucks now.
Starbucks.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It used to be Lix. Yeah. It's Starbucks. Okay.
And I know Evie's been staring at the sign, so I know what I'm supposed to do is say this is a Charlie Butler show with Evie Barr, and we're going to jump right in with our guest. And today we've got what I honestly consider, and I can't believe I'm gonna compliment him on the air because I honestly consider one of the nicest guys in real estate. I mean, in any part of the business, this is one of the really, really class guys. He really is. And I'm talking about Kenny Miller from Elite Environmental. And Kenny's with us today. Good morning, Kenny.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Abby.
Good morning.
So, Kenny, you and I have known each other, you and I have known each other a long time.
About 15 years, 14, 15
Something
years.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of business together.
Yeah.
And
talking about the real estate back in the day.
Talking about the real estate back then. And also different environmental, it's a lot of environmental business too. But
that's how we first met with the mold.
It was, yeah. There was mold growing on my head. The hair wasn't growing anymore.
I was thinking mold's always something that brings a couple guys together.
But anyway, I've always known Kenny his company back then and until recently was Preferred Environmental, really well thought of company, especially, and Kenny I know did a lot of the school districts around here. He took care of this. Took care of Whirlpool when it was here, Bristol Myers, and on, and was really well thought of, and still is by the residential realtors. But Kenny, you've had some changes, haven't you?
Yes, I have. So after owning Preferred Environmental for 15 years, I sold the business last summer to Elite Environmental. They acquired the business, and all the services and clients came along with me.
So, what was your, without getting personal here, but what was your reason for selling? Besides they paid you a pile of money. I know that. Besides that.
Besides that. My main reason was my kids are getting older, and owning your own business is time consuming. It takes up a lot of your time.
And it does.
And my kids are getting older, and I started to see that I was missing out on time with them. So I want to spend more time with them as they're getting old. My daughter's 16 now.
Is she really?
Oh, yeah.
I can remember when she was just.
Oh, yeah. She was, she was only a couple years old, I think, when you and I met. A year or two old.
Coming up to your house, and she was a toddler.
Yeah. And Cameron wasn't born yet. He's 12 now. Yeah. And so with her turning 16, I knew last year about this time she was 15, and she was getting older, and I was seeing less and less, because they started to have a life of their own. And I thought I need to take advantage of these years. So I decided it was just time. It was time to start to where I could actually take a vacation, get some time off work. So that's allowed me selling the company has allowed me to have a little bit more time. It's a little diversified with the staff now, so I can take some time off and spend time with the family.
But you can take some time off, and that is great that you can. You're not really any less active. I mean, as far as, want to let your clients know, you're still there.
Oh, absolutely. I've maintained all the relationships with my clients, and I'm still there. I still maintain all the services and for my clients. I'm there when they need me.
And for those of you, when you heard Kenny was an environmental guy, were thinking about tuning out because you knew this was going to be boring. I promise you it won't, because Kenny is probably we're going to talk a little bit about mold, and Kenny is probably the most common sense guy that I know of the mold guys. And you go to these seminars and they tell you how mold's born and all this stuff, and they go on for a couple of hours, and it's so boring. It is.
And, I've always tried to take the common sense approach, as you know, because we've had these talks in the past,
yes,
where there's a lot of scare tactics that go on in this industry. And people who do the kind of work that I do, there's people out there and companies out there who like to use these scare tactics and freak people out. And then people get the wrong impression, think that they just need to burn their house to the ground. And there's the media plays a part in that too.
Right.
But there really is a common sense approach to doing this. And just because you have mold in a house or in a commercial building, it's not the end of all. It's always I've never been on a mold remediation job that couldn't be handled.
And you've told me in the past, and you correct me where I'm wrong, because this was a statement I know we talked about years ago, but only about 1% of the mold, somewhere in that range, is actually dangerous.
Well, I can't really say what percentage, but there's so many thousands of species of mold, and
but it's a very low percentage. It's
right?
Like, people. I think where I was kind of trying to go, Kenny. Everybody hears about black mold, and every time everybody hears the word mold, they all think they got black mold, and that's not usually the case.
Exactly. And when you hear black mold, that's deceiving, because you really can't identify the mold by the color. So when people call me and say I got black mold, that really doesn't tell me anything, right? Because mold comes in every color in the rainbow, and you can't identify it by looking at it. There's white mold that's more dangerous than some of the black molds, but there are thousands of species of molds out there, and you just can't identify it by looking at it. You have to have it tested. My approach is, if you have mold, you have a problem anyway. You don't want mold growing in your facility, whether it's commercial, residential, industrial. You don't want mold growing. So it's best you want to get rid of it. Because what happens is mold will eventually become dry rot if it's left undone. So,
well, and something else I remember you telling me, we were looking, a client of mine, you were looking at a mold job one time, and the people were talking about, about, we don't know how we'll ever get rid of this mold. It's all, and I remember something you said you shut off the moisture source,
right,
and you kill the mold.
Well, there's three main factors: a food source, and that's the property itself,
right.
You can't eliminate that. And then you got the moisture and lack of ventilation. You get stagnant air. You don't get a good airflow. You get that stagnant air with moisture. And it doesn't have to be a direct water source. It doesn't have to be a flood. It doesn't have to be like a flooded basement or a roof leak or a pipe leak. You get relative humidity above 50%. You're going to have enough moisture to start breeding mold. And you get a stagnant air, you don't get the proper airflow. That's why ventilation is very important, like in crawl spaces and attics. If you don't have that proper airflow, and we see this in repo properties, Charlie, you see this all the time when they turn off the HVAC systems.
Yep.
They shut up the doors and there's no air movement, and then you get humidity like we have in this region that we live in. You're going to have mold growth.
I'm sure one of your favorite things from a business point of view is some of the banks that turn the power off to their properties. Right. So the sump pumps
aren't working.
Sump pumps aren't working.
The HVAC system shut down. The doors and windows are locked shut.
And
then it's 90 degrees outside.
And then it rains. Mm-hmm. You get a foot of water or however much water in the basement, and so.
And you and I see this quite often.
Yeah. So then we have to call you. Sometimes I think you go turn the power off. Yeah.
I've recently had a borrower or a buyer that was purchasing a foreclosed property, and I know part of the negotiations was that because the power had been shut off, the realtor was saying, it looks like there's mold on the walls, but it's just from everything being shut down. So is that really commonplace on a foreclosed property? I hadn't heard of that. They said that there was just like this coating on the walls, I guess, was how they put it. So is that a normal?
Well, that's if I'm picturing this right, you're talking about mold on the walls. So
that's how I took it, but I didn't realize that was commonplace on foreclosed properties.
Well, it is commonplace, but it shouldn't be. So, when you have mold like that growing on drywall, that's always a problem. And that is commonplace because mold will grow. Drywall is a very porous material, so it grows on drywall very easily. And because it's a porous material, when you see it like that, you really have to just get rid of the drywall. It's got to go. It's got to just get tore out. Unless it's just surface mold, sometimes it's very light and it can be cleaned. But as porous as drywall is and as cheap a material as it is, it's actually more cost efficient to just tear it out and replace it than to try to clean it.
Okay.
And that's the approach we take with that. So when we come into properties, I work with a lot of realtors and investors where they're purchasing these repoed properties. And like Charlie just said, the banks, for whatever reason, haven't figured out that they need to leave the utilities on. So
it's been years and they still haven't figured it out.
So you get this problem, but there is a way to approach it and get it done reasonably and with common sense. If we see it growing on block walls in the basement or on floor joists or the floor decking inside of a crawl space or basement, that can easily be cleaned when it's on wood for the most part. There's different methods, but we always clean it. We abate it. We actually remove the mold from the substrate. And if it's on a substrate that's disposable, that's porous like drywall, a cheap material, we just get rid of it altogether. Just dispose of it. So, and then like carpets, we get rid of that. If it's on underlayment, cheap underlayment like an OSB board or Luan flooring, we just pull that up, get rid of it.
Okay.
And Kenny, some of the stuff, some of the homeowners are going to think, wow, if I've got mold, this is really expensive. And if it's expensive enough, it is. But I've seen your quotes for many years, and it's not super. It
doesn't have to be.
It doesn't. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
It doesn't have to be expensive, and you have to be careful because there's some companies out there and some people who just like to scare people and to spend a lot of money that's unnecessary. But with a common sense approach, a lot of times these jobs don't cost as much as people think they do. And another thing is, when you get this done, you want to have air duct cleaning done with it too. And that's something that people don't think about is those mold spores get circulated in especially these repos. You get the mold growth, you get all of a sudden you kick on the HVAC system, all those mold spores are circulating through the ductwork and they collect on the inside walls, and that presents a problem. Sure. So you always want to include air duct cleaning with mold remediation, and we do that.
And if you missed out earlier, you're listening to Kenny Miller from Elite Environmental, where we've been talking about mold. And this is the Charlie Butler Show with Evie Barr. And Kenny, since you were always, I think, known more for mold remediation, things like that. But since you have, I know you did other things, but there's a lot more services you have now, aren't there, since you combined with Elite? Yeah,
well, Elite primarily does asbestos abatement. That's the main thing, and Preferred Environmental did too.
Right.
I've been doing asbestos abatement longer than I've been doing mold. Mold really just became an issue about, I want to say maybe 16, 17 years ago, when the media kind of got involved with the attention with some of the mold that was going to.
You've done the asbestos on the commercial a lot.
But I've been doing asbestos in commercial for over 25 years now.
It's just the residential realtors know you
right
well as Kenny, the mold guy
in the in the real estate business. Yeah, I've been tagged with that. So, but yeah, in the residential or in the real estate industry, I'm pretty much known for the mold, but that's not all we do, and that's not all I've ever done. Like I said, I've been doing asbestos for 25 plus years, and when I came to Elite, I brought the mold services, which they did mold remediation prior to me being there, but we do a lot more now because that's kind of been my specialty. But they've always done asbestos, and we do asbestos in residential, commercial, and industrial. Asbestos it's out there, and you find it in the residential. As you see it on that tape. Speaking of ductwork and HVAC systems, you see it on there, and we take care of that. But that's our primary service is asbestos abatement. We also do. I've been doing fire and water restoration for a good 10 years, maybe 10 or 11 years. I've been involved in water and fire restoration because a lot of times after a fire or a water problem where people have floods from a pipe leak, storm damage, you get water damage, and that leads to mold. So we kind of gravitated to the water restoration. Same thing with fire. You get fire damage and you get water associated with that, storm damage, leaks, and then the next thing you know, you're dealing with a mold problem there too. So we get involved with that a lot. We work with insurance companies a lot too. So we work with people who have an insurance claim, and we work directly with the insurance adjusters.
And also, I know with Preferred you did, and we were talking earlier, I know they also do with Elite, you do air duct cleaning also.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and we got into air duct cleaning because of the mold remediation. And then, like I was just saying a few minutes ago, you really can't to have a complete remediation, mold remediation project done correctly. A lot of times, not all the times, but a lot of times, you have to have air duct cleaning in with that because the mold spores, they're airborne. They get circulated through your air ducts. You turn on your furnace, it gets into the air movers, the blower unit on the A coil, then it gets circulated inside the ductwork. And just because you've had mold remediation done, if you didn't get all that mold out of the ductwork, you're still going to be breathing it. Mold spores are kind of like pollen in the air. You breathe them, and that's where your health issues come from.
Okay.
Just a basic question. How long does it usually take to do either the mold remediation or cleaning out the ductwork?
Well, an air duct cleaning is usually on just a residential property. Now, we do commercial too, but residential, it's a half-day's job, usually 4 or 5 hours. Commercial just depends. We've done commercial where it's taken 2 days. So it varies. Now, mold remediation, it depends on how bad it is. If we're just doing a crawl space, it could be 2 days. It could be 5. If we're doing a whole house, like some of these repos,
right.
We're getting ready to start one here downtown. I think next Monday we're starting a mold remediation job. That's probably going to take me 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's a large project, and it's one of the larger homes downtown.
Okay. Kenny, how, we're talking about all these things, and anybody's out there that's thinking, I've got mold, or I've got, I want my asbestos taken away.
Because that's what people think.
If I burn my house down, I'm not successful, I call for the damage. The insurance company won't pay off.
We do not recommend burning your house down, though.
No, we do not. And no, but Kenny, how can they reach you?
They can reach me at 812-424-7441 or 812-205-7423.
And you got an email that you want to?
Kenny@callelite.com.
Okay, guys. Evie, anything else that you can think of? I mean,
just if anyone wants to be pre-approved for a mortgage, feel free to give me a call. We can talk about different programs out there. They can give me a call at 812-463-3199 or shoot me an email at ebar@waterstonemortgage.com.
You have a one-track mind. We have a guest, and you
I
go
know,
right into
I know,
mortgages.
and we greatly appreciate you coming in. I was expecting you. I was expecting the end of your email to be call the mold guy, not call Elite.
Okay.
So
if you're trying to flatter him, yes, he is single. So okay, so and you thought you were going to go the whole half hour without me, weren't you?
Yeah.
And so we're down to a minute to go. Kenny Miller, thank you very much.
Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Kenny. Evie, also the wanted to mention real quick. Of course, most of you know I'm a partner in also the local Keller Williams.
Yes,
and we are hiring. Looking for whether you have your license, if you want to see how you can get your real estate license, give us a call, 812-422-4096. And Bobby's looking really impatient over there. So he's saying we got time. Or call me at 812-499-7758. And looking for experienced agents or brand new agents because we got a great training program. I will see you next week.
Okay. Have a great Sunday.
You too, Evie. For Evie Barr, this is Charlie Butler and Kenny Miller. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler. Join us every week at this time to find out how to sell your home quickly and for more money. For more information, email cbutler@kw.com or visit charliebutlerteam.com.